Yesterday, Bob Uecker passed away. Bob
Uecker passed away yesterday. Yeah,
and I was a fan of Bob.
I must be on the front row.
And that's where I was going. Do you think, besides a number of things, but just some of his phrases, statements, him being the play-by-play guy in
Major League.
Major League. Thank you. Good night. When he would say, just a bit outside. Just a bit outside.
So good.
Do you think he's best known? You like that line better, or I must be on the front row better?
No, the Miller Lite was Miller Lite, right?
Was it Bud Light? Miller Lite.
This is your area, Greg.
I'm thinking, was that
Miller,
back during the Taste
Miller
Great,
Lite.
Taste
Miller.
Great, less filling year?
Yeah, because they had some
be
great
on the front row.
Yeah, let me tell you that of course I was Baptist, so I had to watch it without my grandmother knowing.
Yeah.
But those Miller Lights, less filling, tastes great.
And all the athletes
with all the athletes and stuff was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think that was Uecker was in that campaign.
I think so too.
Right?
Yeah. When
Can we watch it?
No, Bud Light was one with
this is a good commercial.
transvestite or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Dylan Mulvaney, Greg, is what you're talking about.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, Greg.
1983.
All right, Bob Uecker, Miller Lite beer commercial.
Okay, so this is right.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time, but fans, they forgive and forget. When I go in here, they'll be buying me my favorite beer, Light beer from Miller. You, Bob Uecker? Yeah, how you doing? These fans, I love them. They know us ex-big leaguers drink Light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Well, can't keep the gang waiting. Oh, he's joking.
The fact that he was humble enough and did not take himself serious, that his entire celebrity revolved around he was an average or below average professional player.
Yes.
That is hilarious. That other one we were just talking about. I've never even seen that one.
I hadn't either.
That is hilarious.
Find the one where he's in the stands.
But
I've
never seen that. But he comes to the stadium. Of course, he thinks he's gonna get primo seats
Because he's a celebrity.
because he's a celebrity, and they tell him he's in the wrong seat. He's like, "Oh, I must be on the front row." Let me tell you, that whole
he was definitely
Sir, that's
one
my
of the
seat. You're
best
gonna have to
ones.
move.
Yeah, get up.
Get up. I've got just a bit outside if you want.
Hey, this is classic here.
Great movie.
I think he walks how many in a row here?
Oh, it's something ridiculous.
It's the beginning of it.
just a bit outside.
Wild thing.
Okay.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
It hits the backstop.
So it's hard for me to let his whole campaign, be inferior to this one movie. But I'm telling you, in that movie, he is fantastic.
Just a ball 5, ball 7,
and
ball 10.
And he's so. He's so funny, and there is something hilarious about being the play-by-play guy for a really bad team.
Yeah.
Especially baseball, because there's so many games, and there's so much time to fill because, the game doesn't move all that fast.
Yeah.
And so you really have a lot to say.
Yeah.
And,
this is where I'll need y'all's help a little bit. I know him more for all that than Johnny Carson naming him Mr. Baseball.
Right.
So what's the story behind that, Greg?
I don't really know. I saw him.
I don't know.
No, let me tell you what. I laughed my head off because when he died, by the way, we're talking about this because Bob Uecker died. So I saw a clip yesterday and I laughed really, really hard. So there was a picture of him in the dressing room because he was on a World Series team or they won something. Mm-hmm. And I think Bob Gibson, right? The pictures, whatever.
Okay.
I can't remember. But anyway, they showed the picture of him, and Johnny was like, "Hey, here's a picture of you in the dressing room after the win," and he's just guzzling, champagne or whatever he's got up. So he goes, "No, that's wrong, Johnny. That's me getting ready for the game."
I remember that. I thought this is why I looked it up. He actually was the voice of the Brewers. He called their games for real.
Yeah. Okay. It said this is a Uecker quote. Said the Brewers offered him a $3,000 sign-on bonus. He said, but my old man didn't have that kind of money.
That's funny.
So the self-deprecating Bob Uecker was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so somebody says he has an Andre the Giant moment. I'm not familiar with that one. And
I just love I only heard the audio yesterday. His commercial when he's in the nosebleeds, and and then he gets moved. Anyway, just must be on the front row is funny.
No,
he played it really good.
And
I wonder.
he can't see, but he claims the ball, it was a bad call or something.
I wonder, though, if you were a Milwaukee Brewers fan and you listened to his broadcast, him calling it legit, even though he had the voice, but he called the game legit. You know?
Well, don't you think that that's probably a similar experience, even though he could be bizarre? But if you were a Cubs fan, Harry Carey called the game, but he also had all kinds of great color and bizarre comments and things like that.
Bizarre.
So I bet Uecker would give you the game, but then to a degree, I always thought, speaking of the Careys, I always thought Skip Carey had a little bit of that. He would call serious, but then he would say some really funny things, and like you could tell he'd reference things that happened at the restaurant like the night before and things like that. I always thought he was funny too in his own way.
Yeah.
And then his Sid Bream call that time where he was like he was like, good night, can we get him to the
Please come on.
Yeah. So I bet you listening to him. And by the way, thank you, Texter. I totally forgot about him being on Mr. Belvedere.
Really?
Yeah.
You know why I didn't know? Because I've never watched that one day of my life.
You talking about like how did?
And it was on for years.
Never came across it or
somebody
anything?
must have watched it, but I remember thinking, who watches Mr. Belvedere?
Wait, who was on Mr. Belvedere? Harry Carey or
they
Bob
say
Uecker?
Bob Uecker was.
Oh, Bob Uecker. Okay.
Yeah. But going back to that was, remember, I think years ago that was one of those mystery shows where we were like, how does Mr. Belvedere? How did it stay on the air? Who watched that show?
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's like in the main cast.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like, it was a shocker.
I bet it was funny in it.
You would look and you'd see like whichever network it was. Was it in? I don't remember which network it was, and they'd promote the new season of Mr. Belvedere, and you're like, who's watching this show?
I know.
I've never met
What did he do? I don't even know what the
Was he a butler?
storyline was.
Was it a butler? I'm just saying that because of the title.
So.
Rick, you tying that to a butler? Yeah. So yeah.
It's
So-
Dapper English housekeeper Lynn Belvedere.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, he's dapper.
he's like a really
I won't watch a show that in the
Proper-
description of the word dapper. Is
but people had to be watching it. But it was one of those things where you kept seeing Mr. Belvedere, being renewed, but you've never in your life met anybody that said, "Oh yeah, I don't miss Mr. Belvedere."
It was
in my
on
mind, he's Mr. French off Family Affair. In my mind,
I can see that. I can see that.
He was. It was on ABC, and the show starred Christopher Hewitt as the title character, a butler for an American family,
All right.
headed by George Owens, who was played by Bob Uecker.
well, evidently everybody loved it.
Okay.
Maybe
Wow.
Uecker. Maybe since Uecker was in it, I might have enjoyed it. How about that?
Wow. Okay. All right.
And speaking of Harry Carey, if the man on the moon was made of cheese, would you eat him?
Which was a great line, by the way. And your Harry Carey, not that bad.
Not that bad.
Not that bad.
Working on it.
We'll be back. More of the Rick Burgess Show coming up.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.